Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Eric with American Business Systems, and we are just getting this thing launched this afternoon. So I'm going to give it just a few little minutes here in order for the folks that are coming in and logging in this afternoon. Will be helpful for them so that we don't get too far ahead of anybody. Folks, this afternoon, we're going to do something so unique that Patrick and I have never done this, and that is to take a video of working with Benny Biordi and then playing some of his information and then discussing this and helping you understand what you are able and capable of doing here as a medical billing revenue management company. So it's going to be a pretty exciting time here. Looks like we've got a great crowd coming in already. I see Anna Marie, good to see you. Bernadette, and I see Marcus and Sandeep and Susan and Omar. So good crowd coming in. They'll get some more folks that are still coming in here. And so hopefully, again, you're seeing the screen and you're hearing me okay. What I want to do, again, is first introduce myself to you. My name is Eric Ogea here with American Business Systems, and I'll be your co-host this afternoon along with Patrick Phillips. And then also want to make sure that you're hearing okay, the speakers are turned up, and you know where the question box is. That's the most important thing today, because Patrick and I do really want to hear from you this afternoon. So Chelsea, good to see you. Great, thank you for putting that in there. So if you'll follow kind of the lead here with Chelsea, go over there to the question box area, type in where it says type in your question here. All you got to do is just type in your name right there. That'll be sufficient right there. And at least that'll help you know where to type in your questions, and then we'll be able to read those live while we're going through the webinar this afternoon. Just as a little introduction, folks, we'd love for you to come by and visit with us. We're at 5751 Kroger Drive here in the Fort Worth area. So just drive over here, fly here, however you want to get here. We'd love to have you come visit us here at our headquarters. As you're doing your due diligence, you're going to find that we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau here in Fort Worth, Texas. And then obviously everything that we do is centered and controlled right here with the iClaim and the EMRX software package that we have that's comes with our entire package here that you get here as an ABS licensee. And some of this we'll discuss this afternoon. Some of this you'll hear also from Benny Biordi. Susan, thank you for putting that down in there. Ben, good to see you, sir. Thank you for putting in your name. I know there's some other people out there, so if you don't mind, folks, Marcus and Marco and Rodney and let's see who else I can call out here. Beverly, just go ahead and put your name in there. And again, that makes sure that we're being heard. Folks, every 6 to 7 weeks, we do a live training workshop. And this is where you learn how to actually do the medical billing, get clients, how to boost your business, how to be successful in your business. It's all done through our live training workshop. So we encourage you to join us here. We've got our last one of the year that's coming up here, December the 3rd through the 7th. There is still some room available. So if you'd like to kind of get things kicked off here before the end of the year, please call us, chat with us, and we'll see what we can do to arrange your visit here with us during that live training workshop. See if I got any more in. Okay, Marco, good, loud and clear there. Rodney, good to see you as well. So again, thank you, everybody. Some of you already know Patrick. Patrick is our guy here at American Business Systems. He's the CEO, the founder. He is our guy. I mean, this is who he is, and this is who American Business Systems is. And so it's going to be a pleasure having him on this afternoon. He is also the chairman of the board of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. He is a contributing author and editor of the Billing and Coding Advantage magazine that you can see. These magazines go out every 2 months. These go out to not just ABS licensees. This goes out to all different types of medical billing companies and coding companies. And like I said, that Patrick is a editing contributor to that magazine. He's also an author here. He's written several books. How to reprogram yourself for success. If you haven't gotten a copy of that, get with your business coach and see how you can get a copy of that yourself. And Patrick, I think we're ready to get you on here. So want to get you on the video, and let's start talking about the interview that we're going to actually have today. Oh my, look, you're reading the magazine.
Hey. Oh yeah. Oh, this is the BC Advantage magazine, Billing and Coding Advantage, and yes, it's a real magazine. Yeah, it's like 50 pages a month. It's a
Yeah.
great magazine for people in this industry, and as you said, Eric, I contribute articles to that from time to time, just so that I can just share my knowledge with the world.
There you go. Well, as we get started here, Patrick, tell us about this guy, Vinny Biordi, who he is, how do you know this guy? Who are we going to be hearing from this afternoon?
Well, Benny, as you'll see real fast when he starts talking, is from New York. Yeah. And he is a terrific guy. This is the kind of guy you'd like to go out with and have dinner, have a beer with him. I mean, a very, very nice guy. And he and his wife, my wife and I actually took time to go visit Benny. Now, the reason this is not a live webinar with Benny today, but a pre-recorded one is because he's just grown his business so big, Eric, it's hard to pin him down. And I tried, but I waited too late to try to get him for today. So he said it'd be fine if we just play the interview that we did just a few years back with him, because now his business is about 3 times as big as it was, as you'll hear in this interview. But he's got such great things to share that I thought we would just play this. And Eric, let's do this a little different this time, folks, but sure. We're going to make this really live. I mean, like interactive. And the way we can do that is, of course, is to get John to put his name or where he's from in the question box, because I don't see that anywhere. Kim, yes, this is live. I'm talking to you, Kim. Your name is not in there. You haven't put anything in the question box. We just want to see that you're really here. Let's see. Marco did, though, didn't he? Marcus, I don't think Marcus has his name in there anywhere. Nadir, right? Omar. Yeah. Omar. Panal, let's see, is Rodney in there? No. Rosalind, Sandeep. Yes, this is live, folks. So if you're listening right now, there's Marcus. He says, I'm here. Okay, good.
There you go.
That just warms the cockles of my heart to see that people are really listening to me. And this is why, because, oh yeah, there's Nadir, Kim, thank you, Rodney. All right, they're all coming in.
There we go. Yeah, there you go.
Kim says, hey guys, great to see you and have this opportunity. Oh, that's terrific. Well, thanks for your encouragement. And Sandeep, I see your name coming in there. Great. Now, this is why this is important, because today we're going to play this interview with one of our licensees who's been with us a few years. He's built a great business, as you'll see, has a staff of, I think, like 5 at the time. I think it's bigger than that now, Eric. But he basically has built this business just like you're going to, with no background. Him and his wife had no background, as you'll see, in this business. Now imagine, here's your opportunity to hear from this guy, and even though it's not live, we're going to pause this interview after each one of the questions that you'll see. We come up with the screen with a question for Benny as we edited this film. And so we'll just play the thing and let him answer it, and then I want to pause it, Eric, at each one of those. And you and I just basically talk about what he just said and address any questions or comments. Folks, you can put comments in the question box there as well. Yeah, I mean, even though it says questions, comments are okay too. This is just how we communicate back and forth with our audience. And we want to hear from you as to what you think about this. And you can ask us questions like, is that for real, what he said? I don't believe it, blah, blah, blah. So let's see, Eric, I guess you have the ability to play the video and pause, right?
Let me see about that. You bet. I've got it right here. I can play that. So, folks, before we get this started here, when we do this video interview right here, we want you to adjust your volume, especially whenever we get to the part, I think, when Benny starts talking. So the front part may be a little loud because of some of the music, but then as Benny gets in there, you might want to adjust your volume there if needed here. So, yeah, so let's see if we can get this to play here right here. And we're pulling this in here, and I'll be able to click on the play button here just shortly. I think I've got it. Patrick, here we go.
prior to signing up, becoming an ABS licensee, we had a cleaning service business, and needless to say that that was not something which was number one profitable, number two something we were comfortable doing. Trisha and I, Trisha who happens to be my wife, decided that there was had to be something better out there, and once we found ABS business systems, we knew that that was something we wanted to look into. We did not have any medical billing experience prior to it, so this was something that was totally new for us, and quite frankly, we're very happy that we did make that choice. When we initially started ABS, I did have a previous business that.
Oh, did you want to keep going there, Patrick?
No, we need to pause after each one of those. Let's just pause just for a second. Now, I want to address a couple of things. First of all, you saw the shots of New York City. My wife and I decided to actually fly up and go to Benny's office. Now, I'm not sure if he's moved out of this office or not, Eric, but I know this. That office that you just saw the little shots of there is probably not more than 1,000 square feet, but it holds 5 people at 5 different desks there. You notice they all had dual monitors, just like he does, because we recommend people get a second monitor so they can get the information from the doctor. Perhaps they fax it in, or you're using the EMR on one screen, and then on the other screen you can actually have the billing system that you actually put the data in and do the processing. It just makes it a great way to work. So you were seeing some of his actual staff at the time we filmed that, and as you heard, he and Trish had no background. They were running a janitorial business at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but I think, Patrick, you also he was running another business too. I think he was doing day trading or doing some of that too as well, I believe.
yes, in fact, some of the screenshots that you saw there, if you could zoom in on them, thankfully you can't, but you would see that he was actually probably day trading on one of his monitors there, because he likes to do that. Hey, it's New York City, so he's right down there near Wall Street, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that we're doing this video the way that we're doing this interview, the way we're doing this, and good to hear. And I like how we've got it broken down into these questions to say, gosh, who are you? How long have you been doing this? Do you have an experience in this? And folks, I know that you may have some questions along the way, so I'm monitoring the question box over there. So I think I can back this up a little bit, maybe not, because I think we kind of rolled into that to that next question there. But let me play this next little clip here.
Okay, hold on, Eric. I wanted to address one of the listeners today says, do I have to press play? So I hope that went ahead and played. Maybe there was a delay there. Okay, ready. He says, sorry, never saw the video. So I'm not sure what went wrong there. Marco, if you don't mind putting in maybe the browser that you're using, if you're on a PC or a Mac, that would tell us something. I think we would have heard from other people if they hadn't seen it. So it might be something on your end. Anyway, Eric, I think the question up there was, did you start this full-time or part-time? I think.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Well,
and folks, yeah, and again, if you're not seeing the video, let us know. We want to make sure of that. But you're right. I think are you running this full-time or part-time? So again, folks, turn up your volume so you can hear Benny here. Here we go.
Sandeep says he didn't see anything. Trinicia says I don't see anything. Susan says I didn't see the video either on the iPhone. So Eric, I'm not sure what's going on there. All right, let me ask you this, folks. Those of you who said that you couldn't see anything, could you hear the audio of him speaking? It started out with some music. We showed some shots of his office. No, sir. Nope. They didn't hear a thing, Eric. So
okay, so let's do this again. I'm gonna actually, let's see, Patrick. I think I'm gonna change presenters back to you. And I'm going to see if you're able to play that video. Let's just see if we've got that set up properly here.
Okay. All right. We're going to start it again here, and let's just see what happens here. Now, you guys make comments as we go along here. I got to hit.
signing up, becoming an ABS licensee, we had a cleaning service business, and needless to say that was not something which was, number one, profitable, number two, something we were comfortable doing. Trisha, who happens to be my wife, decided that had to be something better out there, and once we found ABS business systems, we knew that was something we wanted to look into. We did not have any medical billing experience prior to it, so this was something that was totally new for us, and quite frankly, we're very happy that we did make that choice. When we initially started
Okay.
ABS,
I
I didn't
think
have a previous business that I was
Sorry,
running.
I should have paused. Okay, so I got comments there from several people that said they were seeing it okay, but a couple here are still saying, I don't see anything. Do I have to press any play button? Ahmad says, yes, I can see and hear. Rodney's asking a question there, we'll answer. But here's the point, folks. I'm so sorry. We don't know. Technically, this is a go-to webinar thing, I guess. A company called Log Me In that owns it, and we're just using their technology. So Rodney says he can see and hear. Beverly says okay. Yeah. So I think most people are seeing it. It seems to be either a browser problem or something on the back end. But this is being recorded, the whole thing that we're doing today. And so what we'll do is we'll post this entire, recording, which we tested it out earlier, Eric, and we saw that the recording of the video that we're playing here with Benny actually played back at that time.
Yeah.
So you guys will get to hear it there. So I apologize, folks. I guess all you can do is just listen to our comments here. Eric, I thought maybe if I unmuted my mic, they could at least hear what he says. But wouldn't that give a lot of feedback to the people who are probably so? Yeah.
But I believe some are seeing it, and it may just be because of, like Patrick said, your browser. So if you normally see our slides that we use for like a PowerPoint or a keynote, you should be able to see this as well. So maybe some are not seeing that as well.
Yeah, here's a suggestion though. If you're running anything in the background, you're downloading, you're backing up, you're uploading, anything else going on your computer, you might just shut all your other software programs down, your apps, and maybe this will play if it has enough bandwidth. It could be a bandwidth thing. Okay, Eric, here's the question then. Did you start this full or part-time? Let's continue with Benny here. Turn your volumes up.
Business that I was running. We started out with the anticipation of ABS eventually taking off. We started at one account, and as we started to grow, we were fortunate enough to get out of the other business and go forward and put all our attention into something we both particularly preferred to do, and that was doing medical billing full time. So we started off part time and gradually grew into it full time.
Okay, I got to unmute. All right, so folks, I guess you heard that he was doing it part-time to begin with. Now, that didn't count his day trading that he was doing there as well. But notice that they were in the janitorial business. That was a franchise. And one of the big differences between us and a franchise, Eric, is the territories. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, if you've been doing any research on business opportunities and franchises, you know that most of them, if not all of them, have some type of territory. So you're kind of locked in maybe with a zip code, maybe a city or a specific area, maybe even an area code type of territory. But with American business systems, it's unique, and it's unique because Patrick, you and I know this, but I think it kind of will bring the light bulb on for everybody. All doctors use the same form to process medical claims. So the doctors that are in Florida use the same form as those that are in Texas or in California. It's called the CMS 1500 form. So what that does, it gives everybody that's on the call, whether you're in Virginia or Oklahoma or Missouri or wherever you might be, to allow you to have doctors in other areas as well. So you may be in Tennessee and end up having a doctor in Arizona. So that's the beauty of this type of business, that there are no territories. And so it really kind of opens up a full market for everybody to go out there and get as many clients as they want.
Yeah, and folks, the great thing is there's just a licensing fee that we have, kind of like a franchise fee. It's $27,000, which is, believe me, a whole lot less than Benny paid to open his janitorial franchise. Those things can be $100,000 plus. You know, you get up to the 7-Elevens and the Dunkin' Donuts, and you're talking $1 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot less investment, and the advantages, of course, also include that we don't have any royalties. You don't have to pay us 6 to 8% of your gross revenue each month, as you do with a franchise. So once you've paid that license fee, that's all you'll ever pay to American Business Systems, unless you order, some more marketing materials or something from us. That's all at our printing cost anyway. Okay. Yeah. Eric, this is a great question. We get a lot, huh? How long did it take you to get your first account? So let's see what he says to that now. Again, you may have to turn up your volume if you've been listening to us and turned it down.
After leaving Texas, we flew back to New York, and we were really, really excited about getting this business up and running. We aggressively started marketing. Probably the next day the plane landed, and it took us 3 full months to get our first account. Once we did get that account, obviously getting our feet wet did give us the opportunity to understand the business a little bit more.
Okay. So, folks, that answers your questions. If you had in your mind, well, how long does it take people to get their first client? Now, he got his in the first 3 months. Eric, I'd say that's close to typical. Some people take longer than that. It depends on whether they're full-time or part-time, and they were part-time. So,
yeah. And the other part about it is it's always going to be when the doctors themselves are ready. Obviously, the better you know what we do and how you do it, and the whole process of what we do here, obviously the better that everybody becomes. And so we always kind of say, at least within the first 30 to 45 days, you should have already started some type of dialogue with a doctor by then. And then at that point, it's just really kind of when the doctor's ready to make that choice to go, yes, I'm ready to go with you. And that could be within another 30, 40 days. And that kind of fits within that whole 60 to 90 day that we kind of typically talk about getting the first client.
Yeah. And folks, we also have other licensees who we employ or engage with as independent consultants that can coach you. That's right. People like Benny who can coach you until you get your first client. So we always work with people that come through our training and tell them that's the very first goal we have for every one of you as you leave today, is that you're going to get that first client ASAP. But it's different for different people. We're just being upfront with you. That's the way business is. Okay, Eric, I am seeing a couple of people here, and I want to apologize again to Sherry and Susan that you can't still see or hear anything. I really feel bad about this, Eric, and this is a good test. We know we have to check with GoToWebinar folks and see what's going on here when, looks like about maybe 80% of the people can. But let's ask Rodney. His office, I think, is in a suburb of New York, and it's just outside. It may be the Bronx. I'm not really sure, Rodney, but we can get that information. Get back with the person who we call your business coach that's helping you do your due diligence on the business here, that sent you the invitation to this webinar, and they can get you those details. All right, let's see. Eric, I see another question there. It says is waiting for name. Maybe they just didn't put in their name. You want to read that one out? Let's see.
Sure. How much marketing is involved, and what does that look like? Yeah, and I think this is a good question for you to answer, Patrick, because you kind of kick off the whole marketing teaching part of the live training workshop.
Yeah, and folks, the short answer is it depends on you and the time you have available. The long answer is that we spend a whole day of those 5 days of training talking about marketing, that is how to get your first client. Now, all I can tell you is that after 25 years, we kind of figured it out. We've got about a dozen different ways that we teach exactly how to go out and get your first client. Some people use one because maybe it takes a little more time or less time, and maybe one costs more money than the other. Some of them cost nothing. So it just depends.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep. I don't see any other questions there.
All right.
And then Sherry and Susan, if you still can't see, just hang in there with us. We're going to share some of the slides here, and I'll come back and even ask to see if you can see those. But let's talk about again. How long after that did you get your second account? Let's see if we can get that one rolling here too.
And I'd say about we got the second account probably 4 months after that. So within 7 months, we got 2 accounts. But more importantly, it took us 8 full months to have our initial investment paid for.
Okay, now that's worth pausing for, isn't it?
Yeah, you bet. Folks, if Sherry and Susan, if you guys didn't hear that, what he was asking is, how quickly could you get that second client, and then how quickly could you get your return on investment? And Patrick, he said that he got his return on investment within about 8 months.
Yeah, I got the second client, 4 months after the first client. So he's 7 months in, and then by the 8th month, he had got a return on his investment. Eric, maybe we address how that's possible.
Yeah, folks, the easy way to understand that is that each doctor that you do billing for actually has a yearly income of anywhere between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. Well, your initial investment here for yourself is $26,990, so right at $27,000. So once you've got that first doctor and you start doing the billing for that doctor, you're already almost halfway through your return on your investment within the first 6 months. Like Benny, if you obviously get your second client within that time frame, you'll have your entire return on your investment within the first year. And Patrick, as much as you and I've been in the world of entrepreneurship and business opportunities, a return on investment within the first 5 years is usually the typical rule of thumb.
Yeah, they say that if a new business sees black ink, they're out of the red ink, they're into the black, they're in profit situation within 2 years. They're probably going to stay in business. But we are seeing our licensees, like Benny, get it back there as little as, 8 months. Let's see, I'm seeing another one here from Sherry. Okay, I can hear you and Patrick, but not when a person speaks. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sherry. That is something about memory, a browser, or I don't know. Sherry, you might tell us, this would be interesting for us, just feedback-wise, if you're on a phone or an iPad or a tablet or on your computer, and what kind of computer, PC or Mac. Okay, Eric, anything else about that?
Now let's get on with the second question, and then we can put up some slides here if maybe some other people can see. But yeah, she says she's on a smartphone, so that may be, Sherry, why that may be a problem we did not foresee. So, but thank you for letting me.
That could be a bandwidth thing, or a data. You have to pay for too much data, so they're not playing the video. I'm not sure. Okay, this next question is, why did you choose medical billing and ABS?
We decided to choose ABS. Doing our due diligence, we realized that ABS gave us a lot of different opportunities to generate revenue. And being in New York being quite a unique type of market, we weren't sure which direction our business was going to take off in, whether it was going to be the medical billing, profit recovery, patient payment plan. So we just liked the fact, number one, that we had options of which way we were going to go. And more importantly, we weren't committed to have to particularly be just involved in one area.
All right, Eric, this might be a good time to talk about what he's talking about, is that we have other ancillary services that you can offer as an ABS licensee. So in addition to the medical billing you can do for a doctor, you can offer a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Eric, can we switch here and the video stays where it's at, though?
That I don't know.
I
Because
think I think we should address that after we get done here. But folks, there are other things. We'll talk about some of those other services you can offer uh, in just a second. Okay, let's see if there's some other questions or comments here.
Okay, so let's see. We've got Mary Carmen. I've been going through our contacts and we want to have at least 10 doctors by the end of the first year. Do you think this number is feasible? Okay, so here's somebody that is actually become a recent licensee. She hasn't even gotten to training yet, but they've been going through their contacts, Patrick, and their goal is to have 10 doctors by the end of the first year. If that's your projection, that is reasonable. It's not too far out that you can't have 10 doctors. Now, you're going to be very busy here getting a lot of doctors onboarded and getting a lot of things going on. So, Mary Carmen, you bet that can actually happen just fine.
I'm going to just disagree with you just a little bit there, Eric, and only because 10 doctors, that's more than one a month. I would not recommend that. Just wouldn't. Now, it could be that you run across a practice. We have licensees sign up practices that have 10 doctors or 6 or 5. That might be feasible. But to get 10 different new clients, that's really, really aggressive.
That's very aggressive.
First of all, you don't need that many clients to make a really good revenue stream from this business. If you go to our website and our calculator there, our income calculator, you'll see that you need 3 to make a 6-figure income. So
yeah,
don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. But just being real, keeping it real. 10 is pretty aggressive. I would just aim for, if you got 1 a quarter, if you got 4 in your first year, boom, you're off and running. And of course, you'll get referrals from those. So you can't keep it from growing, but by that time, at least you have some experience.
You bet. You bet. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. She says, thank you. She goes, well, there are 3 partners that she has. That's all. So that could possibly.
Now you're talking. If you got 3 people, I forgot that they brought 3 people to the live training workshop. So yes, all 3 of you could get 3 in a year's time. There's 9. Yep. Just round it up. Yep.
Sherry's asking, to work from home, I take care of my mother who has dementia. Sherry, if this is something you want to do and keep it small, obviously that's something you can do because, if you're working with 1, maybe 2 doctors, you could work a couple of hours with 1 doctor in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. That should get you about 2 doctors, and that could generate, anywhere, I'll just say on average, anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 a month just with those 2 doctors. So that might be very workable for you. So again, you can, and you don't always have to work those claims during the day. You kind of pace that out for yourself. So you don't think that you have to be in an 8 to 5 mentality. It could just be do a little bit here.
24/7. Yeah. I like to tell people the internet doesn't close.
Yes.
And since ours is a cloud-based system, you're connected to our servers. You can log in 24/7 and do the actual billing. Now,
there you go.
Jerry, to be honest with you, remember you have to do some work at first to get your clients. It's not just doing the actual billing; it's getting the clients, and that's what we teach you to do. However, you've got to have time to do that. So the time you have available, she says, not a problem. So okay, good. She's got a very positive outlook on this business for sure.
Yeah, you bet. That's what's needed. That is exactly what's, because folks, what we're going to be doing in another week or so on, preparing yourself to become a business owner, you've got to have confidence in who you are, what you're doing, and the confidence that you're going to be able to go get your first client, like we're about to hear from Benny. You got to have a confidence about yourself, or like you said in your book, Patrick, how to reprogram yourself for success. If you've got these negative thoughts in your heads, you're really not going to go anywhere.
Absolutely. Okay. How did you get your first client? Let's hear what Benny says. And folks, we'll repeat his answer here. As you can see, these are fairly short. So we'll repeat it here.
we were able to get our first client by utilizing a sales rep. Uh, but I wouldn't just solely focus on one particular way of getting your accounts. In my particular situation, a sales rep who happened to be a pharmaceutical rep was able to sort of get through the gatekeeper and given the opportunity to explain to them some of our services.
All right. I wasn't
There
paying
you go.
attention there. I forgot I'm the one in charge of the video, so I didn't pause it. But so, folks, let's talk about that just for a second, because Eric, he said he was using sales reps.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah, folks, one of the things that we're going to teach you in our live training workshop is obviously all these marketing components. And these marketing components have been valued and researched and implemented. And the ones that we're using are the ones that are working. We don't want to give you or teach you anything of a marketing strategy that's obviously not working. Now, one of them is utilizing sales reps. I mean, it could simply be that you connect with a rep that's like Benny said, maybe someone that's a pharmaceutical rep, someone that can maybe just make the introduction to the office manager or maybe directly to the doctor, and that's maybe all you need. And I think that's exactly what Benny did.
Yeah, and folks, we have during that week, we go through an entire session on finding and hiring and training sales reps, because a lot of
Yeah,
people don't have the time to go out and market. If they're part-time, they would rather have somebody else do it and give them a little piece of the business. So we'll teach you exactly how to pay them. It's all on commission only. So you give them a piece of the setup fees that you're charging to the doctor to get them going, and then you can give them a piece on the back end for the billing each month and help them build a residual income. And once you do that, you've got them for life. I mean, they will sell for you as many accounts as you want.
you bet.
So it's a
One of the
wonderful.
questions that came in from a couple of people here. We'll take a couple of these questions here. And again, I don't know the person's name. It says waiting for a name here, but how many hours per week is needed per doctor? Does it average to an hourly rate? And it kind of does. Like I mentioned earlier to, I think, Sherry, one doctor will take you about 2 hours a day. So if you're trying to think that out in a week's time, obviously that's about 10 hours a week with one doctor. Again, that's generating $3,000, $3,500 a month. Anywhere from $35,000, maybe $40,000 a year, depending upon the doctor. So there's some variables there, but 2 hours a day per doctor works there.
Eric, we do have licensees telling us they're making 50, 60, 70, $80 an hour.
Yeah.
But it all varies, folks, because it depends on the type of doctor. Now, look, here's an example. If you signed up a chiropractor, you might have claims that are valued at $75 a piece. But if you signed up a specialist like a heart doctor, for example, all of a sudden each claim could be several $1,000s, depending on what the doctor did for that person. So you'll make a percentage of that just like you would a percentage of the chiropractor, and there's a huge difference there. Overall, that's why we're going to teach you in our training class the types of doctors you should go after. What are the most profitable doctors that you should start with? We'll show you that.
Yeah, you bet. And then Chelsea is asking about Benny. Maybe you know this, Patrick, because you were the one that did the video there. Do you know if Benny already knew the pharmaceutical rep? Did he have to cold call or send a proposal to a pharmaceutical rep? Do you remember or recall?
I think he did the exact thing that we teach our licensees to do. We tell you several places that you can place ads for sales reps. You get their resumes sent to you. You look at those, you decide whether or not that person might be interesting, and you call them up for an interview. We tell you exactly how to do that, what questions to ask, and if that's the person, then boom, you hire them. And we've even got agreements already worked up that you can have the rep sign for going to work for you.
You bet. I think that's it on the questions so far. So let's go with the question that you asked Benny here.
Sorry, pause it again. That was the question was, what marketing methods worked the best for you? Here we go.
Well, I can answer that in two parts. Number one, I can tell you what worked for me. What worked for me was having a sales rep and obviously getting that first and second account, understanding it and utilizing, and then expanding on that with the referral basis. But I encourage anyone who's just starting, because every territory might be unique. You want to utilize every opportunity you have to utilize all of ABS's advertising techniques. You just don't know what's going to work, and I think the idea is to come at it from all different angles and find out what works for you, what's your niche in your market, and take it from there. One of the
Okay,
I
can
missed,
you?
I
There you
missed that.
go.
What was the question there? Did you see the next one?
Oh, I I did not. I know I was focusing on listening to his question and then getting ready to unmute there.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. But basically, he said that he started with the sales rep who got him his first two clients, I think he said, and then he
Yep.
just relied on the referral. Now he went by that real fast, but folks, that is a big deal because I think after those first two, most of his clients that he's got now, which is I think 12 to 15, they all
Yeah.
came through the referrals because doctors know one another, and if you do a good job for them, they'll refer one another.
Yeah, you bet. I mean, I know that once we've heard this from every single licensee, once they started marketing, they land that first doctor. Remember, you have already been thinking about this. You've already been seeding other opportunities with other doctors. And so once those start coming in, and then finally that one doctor talks to another doctor and go, oh, you were using Benny or Patrick or Eric, that starts routing that information in there because, like Patrick said, doctors talk with each other. And we know that for a fact, Patrick, because of your interviews that you do with Dr. Vicki Rackner and how encouraging she can be as a doctor for a reference for some of our licensees for their doctors.
Yes, and that's something we don't talk about a whole lot, but we should more, Eric. And of course, people learn about this during the live training workshop. But folks, how would you like to partner with a doctor in starting your business?
Yeah.
That's what we basically have in Dr. Vicki Rackner. She has been with us now for what, Eric, 4 years,
Right.
and she is a nationally known speaker and author, an ex general surgeon who was in practice for many, many years, saw thousands of patients, and then decided she wanted to do something else. So she now helps other people and doctors to thrive in their business. And so, anyway, we've got a great webinar coming up with her, I think, week after next,
Week
Eric.
after
So,
next. You bet.
yeah.
You bet. I think we're good on questions, Patrick. So if you want to
Yep.
keep going on, let's keep going.
All right. We'll tell from his answer here what the question.
The advantages of joining ABS is having the ability to go down and to spend 4 or 5 days in their seminar in Texas. Anyone who's interested in becoming an ABS licensee, I highly recommend doing that. You will find when you're down there, you'll find that you have anywhere from 10, 15 ways of learning advertisement in your specific field. Take everything that you learn from there, bring it home, try it, and you'll see what works for you in your particular area.
So it was what advantage did he have coming to the training class and being a part of ABS?
Right, yeah. Because folks, let's face it. My wife and I, back in the late '80s, actually started our own medical billing business. It's not that you couldn't start it on your own, but we had, a friend who was our first client, and so it was much easier because we just didn't know where to go or what to start, how to market. And that's one of the hardest parts about any business, not just this business, but any business you think of starting. Your biggest problem is getting somebody as a client.
Right.
And that's what we specialize in as a company. We know how to do that and how to get you started a whole lot faster than you would on your own, probably.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Let's keep going on. The question I think you asked is, what would you have done differently if you had to choose all over again?
All right. Here goes.
To answer that question, if I had to do it all over again, if there was one thing I had to change, and that would be not doing this a lot sooner. Like I said before, I've gotten involved in different businesses. Not everything's worked, and I understand that. But I was fortunate enough to learn from my mistakes and try to find the the, the perfect business model and that happened to me 3.5 years ago when I became an ABS licensee.
Hey, it doesn't get any better than that for a testimonial for our company, does it, Eric? And
Right.
folks, you can just tell that this was not planned. It was not scripted. The questions were just asked, and then we edited them back in afterwards to where you could read them on the screen here. But Benny is just about as honest a guy as you will ever meet, and he will tell the facts as they are. And he says that it was a good thing. He wouldn't. The only thing he regretted, Eric, was not starting this sooner. So that's a
Right.
good testimonial, isn't it?
Yeah. And folks, let me tell you that if you would like to talk to Benny, he's made himself available as a reference to you outside of Patrick, outside of me, outside of anybody else that you're talking here at ABS. Have a one-on-one conversation with him and ask him some questions that you may not feel comfortable asking us on a webinar. Ask him personally. He'd be happy to have that conversation with you.
Yeah, he's just a great guy to call and talk to. Now, if you don't get him, leave a voicemail and tell him I'm somebody looking into getting into the American Business Systems or ABS
Yep.
business, and he'll return your call. If he doesn't, Eric, he's fired. That's all I can say. As a reference, no, these licensees volunteer to do this, so we can't make them call you back, but most of them do. They're very busy, some of them, but you'll hear back from, and we've got what, Eric, a couple of dozen, I guess we could give.
Yeah.
Here's a good question. It kind of ties in with this. Somebody, the waiting for name person, says, how many licensees do you have? All right, so Eric, we've said in round numbers, it's around 600 that are out there. And
Right.
that's because we have not had our cloud-based system until lately. So they're the ones who are actually out there using our iClaim and EMRX system. And those are our active licensees that are out there. So hope that helps. Let's see. Eric, do you see another name?
Yeah, Arilla, I think you're asking, are hospitals likely clients? Now, that's a good question because a lot of people are asking, who do I do? Who do I market to? Who are my prospective prospects? Hospitals are separate from just general medical billing. So you're talking about your doctors, your surgeons, chiropractors, cardiologists. So we're doing what's called professional billing. Hospital billing is what's called technical billing or institutional billing. That's a hard market to break into. So the software that we have to make it as easy to get you in the medical billing world, we start with the doctors. Now, Patrick, I think some of our licensees are actually doing different types of billing, durable medical equipment billing. Some of them are doing some hospital or maybe some small hospitals and some nursing homes. So yeah, you can grow into those, but we want to help. We want to help you get a client within that 60, 90 day period. You're not going to get a hospital as a client in that time frame. Just it won't happen.
So the short answer is yes, you could do billing for hospitals, and the long answer is why would you when there's so many individual doctors out there in private practice? Folks, there's over 60 specialists that you can approach and do their billing. And we go through that in the training, of course, in detail.
Yeah.
Eric, we're not going to get through this entire interview.
Well, let's keep going. I know people ask how many clients or accounts do they have currently. So let's get that one and we'll answer a few more questions here as we kind of get ready to close out.
We currently have 8 accounts that we're servicing. Some accounts are bigger than others. Some accounts have more than one doctor in them. But nevertheless, we are servicing 8 accounts. We have 5 full-time employees, 2 part-time employees, as well as me and my wife.
Okay. So, folks, as you can see, 8 clients, but he's got multiple doctors. And Eric, if he has 5 full-time and 2 part-time people, he's got a lot of doctors in some of those practices. So,
yes, you bet. Yeah.
That translates into a multiple 6-figure income for him and Patricia.
Yeah, you bet. Patrick, you want to keep going on with the questions, or do you want to do the questions here that are coming in?
I'm not seeing any that relate directly to what was just played. So let's play another one. This is, are you happy with where you are financially? Let's play this.
looking back now, we realize we are very fortunate to be in this situation. And after making this decision to become an ABS licensee, we become very financially, we become very comfortable.
I asked now this was me actually doing the interview here behind the camera, and I asked Benny. I started out like saying, "Okay, Benny, can you tell us exactly how much money you have in your bank account right now?"
Right.
Folks, as you can see, he's being very generic there in the way he answered that, because you don't want to get into the details of what somebody has in their bank account. But believe me, he's doing very well, and right now all he does is day trade primarily. He comes in there and sets and kind of makes the employees out there in the next room think that he's watching what they're doing, but I don't think he is at this point.
Right.
Okay. Next question. What are your plans for growing this business?
Our goal this year is to add 2 more physicians on. That's been our goal every year, to add 2 additional physicians. We understand it doesn't matter, they don't have to be big account, we just have to continue to grow. Our goal is to maximize all our office space in this building, and we have 3 more seats available. So by the year 2012, we expect to be at full capacity.
Okay, so Eric, he's outgrown, I'm sure, that building that it was in, because he certainly has more than that would be what, 5 full-time and 2 part-time. Anyway, he's got a lot more seats filled because he's got a lot of clients, like I said, by now. By the way, I'm seeing a lot of questions here that I want to address some.
Sure.
Some of these I may skip, Eric, but let's go ahead and address some of those questions that are on there.
You bet. I know Sherry's asking the question, how long does it take to get a license? Sherry, it doesn't take long to get a license. So I think what you're thinking about is really how long does it take you to get the certification? The certification is through that live training workshop. So by the end of that live training workshop, during that 5 days of live training workshop that we have, at the conclusion of that, you're awarded a certification as a certified medical revenue management company. So that's what you're maybe thinking about there. So getting becoming a licensee is the completion of the purchase agreement, making your investment, getting in that live training workshop so we can get you well on the way of getting your certification as a certified medical revenue manager.
Good. And I see a couple there that I want to address, Eric, at the end there about what the attrition rate is and inactive and so forth. Okay, so let's play the next one. How has the support been from ABS?
Number one, without the support from ABS, we wouldn't be here. Like I said before, we had absolutely no prior experience in the billing, in understanding medical billing. So it was very, very important that we had someone assist us, at least for the first 2, 3 accounts, to get us up on our feet. Without support from ABS, we're not here 3.5 years later, and obviously I'm not here running a business on a full-time basis without it.
Let's go on to the next one. How has this business changed your life?
My life, boy, in the last 3.5 years, my life has changed. Looking back now, I felt like it wasn't that I didn't have the energy or desire. I just felt like I wasn't in the right direction. I wasn't motivated and focused in on a particular direction. Once we came across the ABS and once we discovered medical billing was going to be what we were going to do going for the future, I was able to take all my energy and direct it into this direction. 3.5 years ago, we were all over the place, not understanding, not knowing which direction we wanted to go. And this was quite a blessing for us, for me, my wife, and obviously our 4 children.
Eric, I'm going to stop the interview at that point because we got some questions to answer, and I know you want to wrap the thing up. So I'm going to let you take it over here, if that's okay.
Yeah, you bet. Let me get up over here and kind of change. I'll become the presenter here, and
folks, thank you for being on here today. I've got to run, but I want to encourage you to continue coming to these webinars every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. And I hope I see each one of you at one of our live training workshops coming up soon.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks so much, Patrick. Again, folks, thank you for participating this afternoon. Just again, hopefully for those that may not have been seeing the video, I'm actually showing my full screen here, so hopefully you're able to see that as well. But it does start with the iClaim billing platform. We would love to be able to show that with you. It is very easy for you to see it in real time and real live. Just get with your business coach. They'll be able to do a live demonstration of both the iClaim platform and our electronic medical records platform called EMRX. So if you'd like to see that, get back with your business coach, and then they would be happy to be able to show that to you and for you. Now, one of the things as I kind of close out here, we've been kind of talking about all this afternoon, a certification. So a lot of people ask, do I need to take a test for this? No, what happens is that because you're a participant in this training workshop, and the information that you are given during that live training workshop, you meet all the qualifications to become a certified medical revenue manager. Well, think about that as your entire company. You now become a certified medical revenue management company in the whole. So that means part of your employees and everything that you do. So that's a great certification that you have, because it's more than just learning medical billing. It's looking and managing the doctor's revenue from the time that that patient enters the door to the time that the doctor gets paid. And what we're seeing, folks, is the doctors are getting paid within less than 2 weeks. So if you can imagine, most doctors are only getting paid sometimes within 30, 60, maybe even up to 90 days. So when we can shorten that time frame down to less than 2 weeks, the doctors are extremely happy. And that's one of the things, one of the greatest things that you learn here during this week of training, and one of the reasons why you are certified during that week. But it even goes a little bit further, because folks, a lot of people do ask, when do I need to pay the $26,990? Do you take payments? How does all of this work for you? How this works is that you make your investment, you sign the purchase agreement, you invest in yourself, the $26,990, the $27,000. We immediately ship you over the entire business package to you. So you start looking through it. Then we get you lined up to attend our live training workshop. And written right inside of the purchase agreement is this: if at the end of the training of the workshop, for any reason you think this is not the right business for you, simply tell any of our staff members and we'll arrange a full 100% refund of your licensing fee. Now, folks, we can't make it any better than that. Think about that. We are one of the only business opportunities and franchises that we know of that will actually put this out on the line. This is our risk to you, because we know that anybody during our live training workshop can turn around and say, you know what, thank you, I appreciate it. I've learned all I want to learn, and go try to start it on my own and then take that advantage. Folks, what we understand is what we want you to do is, like Benny said, without the support of American Business Systems, obviously they wouldn't be where they are today. But part of your due diligence is this live training workshop. So Patrick offers this to every single person that becomes a licensee. That money actually goes into a different account. It's a completely separate account until you finish that workshop and you say, yes, I want to stay with this. So folks, again, I think anybody reasonably should be able to take advantage of this if you're truly, sincerely looking into this particular business. Now,